Hello and welcome. If this is your first time here, my name is Hannah and today I will be tackling my September TBR. So, if you haven't seen my September reading plan videos, I will leave the link in the cards and in the description box below. And if you have, you might be aware that I am trying to tackle 4,348 pages of my September TBR. So far, I have read 4 books, which means I have 2,477 pages left to read in September. I am still trying to complete the series. So I think in this vlog, I have one more book left from the finishing my series plan. And this is Nesbo, Killing Moon. And this is book 13 in Harry Hole series. I am a big fan of Nesbo. And I have read all of his books except this one. There's another book that's coming out in September. It's part of a duology and I have pre-ordered that book, and I think it's towards the end of September it's being released. And hopefully in this vlog I will be able to also tackle a reread of book 1, which is The Kingdom. As you can see, both of them are quite chunky, so let's hope for the best, try our best and see how it goes. But this will definitely be read in this vlog, because this is, at the end of the day, me finishing the series that I have started and not finished. So good luck to me. We have 489 pages. It will take the chunk off from that big number that I told you in the beginning. So without further ado, let's start. Harry Hole series is a series about a detective, Harry Hole, and we follow his life throughout the 13 books. We follow his relationships with his colleagues, with work, with women, but also every single book tackles a different crime. I had this book for about a year. I got it for my birthday last year, and I think it's about time I start reading it. Maybe I'm hoping there will be a little recap in the beginning, because I can't really remember how book 12 had finished. Knife, that was book 12. I can't really remember how book 12 had finished, so I will see if I can find a little recap on where we are. Hopefully there will be in the beginning, but yes. Stop chatting, start reading. Hello, how we doing? It is so gloomy outside. It's still warm, but it starts to feel a bit like autumn. Friday was Jason's birthday and we went to the gym and we did birthday deadlift session, and we both did well. I'm super proud of myself, because my goal for that day was to do 4 reps on 140 kilo, and I have achieved that, along the other sets and reps or whatever. I will show you my deadlifts on the screen. You probably could see them now. Deadlift session was good. What else? I have started reading Killing Moon by Nesbo, and I'm not that far in the book because I didn't have time. I've read 44 pages. This is where my bookmark is. So yeah, there's obviously a killer. Seems like a serial killer, but Harry is grieving after his wife Raquel died, got murdered in a previous book, and he is away in Los Angeles, so he's not doing anything for the police in Norway now. And I think the police or someone will try to get Harry to help them out finding the serial killer. And I'm just excited to see how this book is going to develop. That's the word. In the meantime, I have also finished listening to Hollow Places by T Kingfisher. After the success of The Swan Soldier, I decided to see if Libby had any Kingfisher's books, audiobooks, and Hollow Places was available. I've listened to that, and to be fair, I rated it 2.5 stars. I finished it today. It started so well. I actually like the idea and the premise of the book. It's about this girl, woman, Kara, that her husband asks for a divorce and they split, and because she can't afford to stay in a house, she is planning to move back to her mum's, but her relationship with her mum is not so good, so her uncle invites her to stay with him, and the uncle runs this museum of weird things, and so she goes there. She stays with the uncle, but uncle's got some health issues and he needs to have an operation, so he goes away to the hospital, and she stays and she looks after the museum. So people donate and bring different things in boxes, donate them to the museum, and she's cataloging all the pieces that are in the museum. And one day she discovers a hole in the wall in one of the rooms, and together with her friend from the that runs the cafe next door, Simon, they kind of explore this hole a little bit more, and they see this kind of like a concrete hallway in there. So they decide to go into that hallway, and turning left they find this room with a dead body with a skeleton, and then turning right they find a set of stairs and like a door, bolted up door, and it kind of looks like a bunker. They open the door and they come out in this weird world when there's like water and different islands, and on these little islands they see more doors and whatnot. And up to that point, I think I really felt that book. I really vibed with that book. I think there was a few places when it kind of felt a little bit scary and a little bit tense and everything. And up to that point, I think this book had, for me, a potential to be a quite highly rated book. But because of the stuff that happened afterwards, the positive vibes for me kind of went down. And I ended up giving this book 2.5 stars. There's a lot of weird stuff that started happening, and I was listening to this book and I was thinking, oh my God, what have you taken? It was so weird. It's literally like someone took some and yeah. Wow. There was a lot of things that were kind of like mentioned, but were never explored more. They were never developed more. And I felt like, the body that they found in that bunker, I would want to find out, how did that body come to be there? Who was it in the end? I think I might know who it was, but it would be nice to find something to do with the body, develop that part of the story a little bit more. There were some bits in that story that I felt like they were started and not finished, and I wish they were explored a little bit more. And yeah, towards the end of the book, it was kind of weird, and I'm not gonna say unrealistic because this whole story was unrealistic basically, but I don't know, I just wish there was more to this book. It was interesting to the point when they saw that parallel world or whatever it was, and then afterwards it kind of went down for me, and it ended up being one of those books that I've read or listened to, and that's it. I will probably next week I will forget what this book was about. So that's a shame, because I felt like this book had really, really good potential for me. But I have started reading something else. This book actually came out in, I think, September last year or something, or February last year or something like that, 2023, okay? And the book I'm talking about is The Monsters in Our Shadows by Edward J. symbol or something like that. The cover is on the screen. I'm reading this on my Kindle, and this was a book that I have requested from NetGalley, and I was given the opportunity to read it, so I'm reading it now. Oh my gosh, so far I think I've read about 13%, and so far I'm really enjoying my time with this book. I know it's still early to say. According to Goodreads, Kindle edition of this book has 388 pages, and I've read 13%, so how much is that going to be? Let's just round it up to 400, so maybe like 40, less than 45 pages, so same amount of pages like Nesbo that I'm reading now. And so far it really got my interest. I normally just read my Kindle at work on my break, but I came home and I was having some lunch, and I actually took my Kindle and I was reading the book, because that story so far in the 40 few pages that I've read literally got its hooks in me. So this is happening in, I feel like, dystopian times, when the world is dead and everything, and there's this one city walled up, and they are trying to kind of like separate themselves from the dead world that's outside. And there is this guy, Anthem is called, or person, there's this person called Anthem, and he is the exilist. And as an exilist, he's kind of like a reaper. This is how I understand it. So people that live in this walled city, some of them, they are afflicted by shadows. These shadows kind of attach themselves to these people, and they treat them as hosts. And at one point, they attack the host. So this exilist comes to this old lady, and she's ready to go and finish her life, and she makes him tea and whatnot. And this exilist and Anthem, he sees that big massive shadow on the ceiling attached to this woman, and what they do, he gives her this injection, and she puts her in a box, and then the shadow goes into the box behind her, and he locks the door. And then this shadow kind of gets its teeth in the house, and basically it's that person alive. And the exilist, in the meantime, takes this box, this secure box, and he needs to take it outside the city walls. And this is where they take all the shadows, and this is where the shadows live. And there's more people in the city afflicted with this, with the shadows, and they're basically like monsters. And yeah, so there was a scene when Anthem, this exilist, took that shadow outside the walls, and he kind of got lost in his thoughts. He was thinking about different things, and by the time the shadow was finished with the host, it was a little bit too late, and he started attacking this exilist. So there was this whole hot pumping scene about how this exilist was trying to escape and everything and get back in the city. And I was on the edge of my seat. I actually flipping loved it. This is written in such a cool, like, for me, in such a nice language, easy to read, and it seems like it's very well paced as well. I know it's still early in the book, but I'm hoping this pace will keep up, because I do like medium and fast-paced books. And I still hope that I will be feeling this tension. Having read the Kindle at home, it just shows me how much I'm actually enjoying this book. Like, I don't want anything to spoil the good time I have with this book. Hello everybody. As you can see, I am not exactly fresh. I mean, I'm fresh because I'm just out of the shower, but I'm just so tired. I've been feeling so tired past couple of days, but I thought we deserve a little update. I'm reading Killing Moon by Nesbo, and I am this much in, 144 pages, and I'm really enjoying this book, but I knew I was going to, because I always do. Nesbo writes in such way that you literally forget what time of the day or night it is. You just want to keep reading and reading and reading and reading. And I have to say, Harry Ho is my favorite character ever. Harry Ho is in this book kind of like an ex-detective. He's suspended from the police, or doesn't work for the police anymore, but he's a Norwegian detective that used to work with the police. Now he's not. He's working with someone else or helping someone else, and he's an alcoholic, and he's a troubled man. He's a troubled man. But I don't know, I just cannot help but love Harry. He's just so all over the place. I think what I love about him is how loyal he is, and how a very small group of friends he's got. Even though he's this, he is a representative of the law, his friends, some of them have very questionable morals, but you know, they come through for each other. They have each other's backs, and I just love it. And generally in Nesbo's books, you will find a lot of references to music, and I love seeing that. And you know, I always see this as music recommendations, and in this book there've been a few as well already. So I actually really enjoy that, really enjoy my time with it. I'm not sure if I told you what this is about. So basically we're in Oslo, and two women missing, and one is found after a couple of weeks, and obviously there's a suspicion of a serial killer. So the police is trying to work out, but they haven't got any leads or whatever. And then in the meantime, Harry Ho is staying in Los Angeles, and he kind of gets tangled up with this older woman, ex-actress that got in trouble with Mexican gangs, and he's helping her out. And it got to the point where he accepted a job from a private person suspected of murder of these two women back in Oslo, and he asked for a certain amount of money. I think it's $1 million to pay that older woman's debts that she had with that Mexican gang. So this is how he made his way back to Norway. And even though he's helping this man, he's also kind of like he's also trying to find a serial killer. So Harry is well known in Oslo for having a knack for finding serial killers. So I'm really enjoying my time with this. Like I said, Nesbo is my favorite ever author, and the reason why is the fact that I love Harry and I love Nesbo's writing style. So that's that. I'm so tired. So we have a little bit of a progress on the blanket. This is what it looks like. It's so nice. I'm actually, I love making stuff like that. And you know, all these bright colors, they literally, I live for colors like this. This is not going to be for me. This is for my friend's sister. She chose the color, she chose the pattern. The pattern is slightly a bit more time consuming, because in these 2 rows you kind of have to go in every single stitch, but I think it's very effective, and I think it looks really, really nice. I'm actually loving it. So whenever I watch TV or I listen to the audiobook, I do the blanket, and yeah, I'm so happy. It looks really good. It looks really good. Still plenty of rows to go. I think I'm doing there's 85 or something like this, and I'm only on row 30. So yeah, I've got about 50 to go. So yay! And on that note, I think I'm gonna go and make myself a cup of tea, because I feel a little bit tired, and I think I am going to just plonk on the sofa and read my book, because time is running out and I need to read. This is a very good angle. I don't care. I'm literally heading to bed, but I need to update you. So I'm past halfway point in Killing Moon by Nesbo, and I'm loving my time with it. We started seeing the action, and we see the perpetrator, we see the actions of the villains as well unfolding, so it's getting really exciting. I also have finished listening to Nettle Bone by T Kingfisher. Sorry, I literally just had a shower. I finished listening to Nettle Bone by T Kingfisher today, and oh my gosh, I rated it 5 stars. Okay, this has to be one of the best fantasy books I have ever read. Okay, this literally had everything. I felt like it was a fairy tale you can say to your kids, you can tell your kids for good night, you know, when you put them to bed, because it kind of had everything. It had the king and the queen and the 3 sisters, the princesses, and you know, they were kind of in the middle, in this middle harbor kingdom, and then the 2 kingdoms on the sides, and they made an alliance with the northern kingdom or whatever, and then this bad king and a bad prince, and the first daughter gets married off and she dies apparently in an accident, so that the second daughter gets married off to the same prince, just to keep the alliance going in case if they get attacked by the south kingdom. The prince, the future king, tortures her and beats her and everything, and then the younger sister is being put in a coven. She's being put away, and she's with the nuns. Yeah, let's just say that, because they save their parents, the king and the queen. They're saving her in case if the middle sister dies as well, because they need to have that alliance with that kingdom for protection. So anyway, when Mara witnesses the birth of a child, and you know, her older sister tells her what's going on, she decides she needs to help her and she needs to save her. So she kind of goes on this quest, and she is told, someone directs her to this witch that apparently can help her. Anyway, so this witch says to her, you need to complete these 3 tasks and then I will help you. So these tasks apparently are impossible to complete, but Mara still completes them. And together with that witch, they start this quest, and on this quest, ex-knight joins them and a fairy godmother joins her. So you have this bunch of like random people, but bunch of people that you usually see in fairy tales, and they are kind of like all helping Mara to fulfill her quest, as in like to free her sister from that awful husband that mistreats her. But yeah, I absolutely love this book. I think it's going to be one of those books I would want to have as my shelf trophy, because it was a library audiobook, and yeah, obviously. So I'll be looking at getting a physical book for my bookshelf. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was kind of like a medium pace, but the characters, they were just so lovable. And like this fairy godmother, she was just not fairy godmother, but like this godmother, she was so funny. It's like an older lady, and you know, I don't know, it was just so cute. This book was just literally so cute. I loved the story, loved the pacing, loved the characters, loved the happy ending. Oh, it was just perfect. It was a 5-star book for me. And on that note, I am going to continue with possibly a couple of chapters of Killing Moon before I have to turn my lights off. I have about 45 minutes, so yeah, hopefully at least a couple of chapters of that, and then bedtime. I have just finished listening to Chlorine by Jade Song, and I think the first time I heard about this book was from Sarah, from Wicked Reading. I didn't know what to expect. I kind of knew it was going to be mermaid topics and stuff like that, but I didn't see the Right, so I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I basically we follow this girl, Renyu. I think her parents came to the States from China, and she grew up in America, so she's American Chinese. When she was a little girl, her mom gave her a book about mermaids, like different legends from all over the world and whatnot, and she was fascinated with mermaids. So since she was a little girl, she started swimming, and she joined the swim team, and she was really good at swimming, so she was winning different competitions and not. But I think as she was growing up, her mental state, you know, the diet, the training, the, you know, harshness of everything, and you know, her fascinations with mermaids as well, it kind of led to her having some mental issues, even I would say psychosis at time. Wow, that book didn't see that this is gonna go this way. Wow, basically this book, it was strange and it was weird and it was unsettling. It was tackling subjects of immigration, belonging, you know, feeling a part of community, like competition. It talked a lot about swimmers' day-to-day life, what they do, preparing for the competitions and everything. You know, there was a lot of teenage girl stuff. This is kind of like a coming-of-age book as well, but a weird coming of age book. There's a lot of triggers in this book, so definitely read content warnings. There's some really good body horror in this book as well. Especially there's one scene and you kind of cringe when you listen to it or when you read, but it's so flipping good. I actually really enjoyed this book. I had a really good time listening to this book. It was a short one. It was, I think, just over, I think maybe about 8.5 hours listen, and I listened on 1.75 speed, so it took me way less than that. I rated it 4 stars. It's not quite a 5-star read, but I think it's very relatable when it comes to like body issues and body image, and you know how sometimes we hate our bodies and we would do anything to change them, you know, going through like diets, and like, you know, now you see young girls and doing like different things to their faces and bodies and everything, and it's just like, so it talks a lot about these issues. Ren is 17. It's kind of that age when you feel these things the most. I feel it was weird and it was unsettling, but for me in a good sense of weird and strange and unsettling. So it is the next day. I know I'm wearing the same jumper, but I am gonna go to the gym, so, you know, make it dirty, put it in the wash. And I have about 40 pages left in this book. I literally just sat here and I was like, oh my god, woman, she is a detective, right? And she knows there's a serial killer killing of people and whatnot, and she went on this date with this guy, and the guy tells her, like, we the readers, we know that he could be a potential killer, right? But she doesn't know that. But so he tells her, turn off your phone, be with me and with the universe, blah blah blah, and she does it, and I'm like, what? Oh my god, woman. She literally left a baby. She's got a 3-year-old son. She left it with the grandmother, and I'm like, what sane mother would turn off her phone, being outside somewhere, leaving the child with someone else? No mother would ever do that. So yeah, it's kind of like, It's frustrating. When I read this, it's frustrating. I know why Nesbo is doing this. I know why he did it in this way, but at the same time, it's so frustrating. I have finished. Finished Killing Moon. The dash jacket is upstairs. And 4.5 stars. So this is the 13th installment in the adventures of Harry Ho. Harry Ho is a Norwegian detective. He kind of was forced to go back to Norway. He was staying in the US. He was forced to go back to Norway, and he's doing this investigation. Again, I'm not going to go into details because I already talked about this book. As always, the book is pretty much, I would say, medium to fast paced. There was a one point in the book when it kind of dragged out a little bit, and then, you know, it picked up again and it became the good old Nesbo fast paced book. And this is where the point when I dropped that 0.5 star for the book, because I felt like it could have been done maybe in a better way. And the book is literally full of twists and turns, and then you think at one point, you start thinking, okay, I know who the bad guy is, and then it turns out, you know, fuck all. And you were wrong all this time. And I love that about Nesbo's books, and specifically Harry Ho books. And there's a point when he kind of shows us those two situations, and both of the situations are kind of fitting for the profile of the murderer, and you think it's like, oh my god, which one? And then it turns is the one that you literally didn't even think about. I love that. And the other thing that I love in Nesbo's books is the fact how seamlessly he reminds the reader what happened in the previous book. I was reading second part in trilogy, Lauren Ash's Lakeside Billionaires, right? And one of my complaints was how she was reminding the reader what happened in book 1, who was who and what's up, but she was doing it in a way like kind of like in your face. Nesbo has done it very seamlessly. It wasn't all in like in the beginning of the book. It was kind of like woven into the story. I forgot certain things, but the way he's done it, I was like, oh yes, I remember that. And I didn't feel like I was completely stupid and someone was just trying to literally just show me, like, tell me. He wasn't telling me, he was showing me. And this is what I love about Nesbo, how perfectly he does that. Like, I think it's a skill. Not everyone has that skill. And I have to say, Harry Ho and the whole Harry Ho series is by far my favorite series of all time. And Harry Ho is the favorite character of all time for me. And he's this problematic detective. He's just so rough around the edges. He's kind of handsome in a ragged kind of way, and he's got shitloads of personal issues, and on top of that, he's an alcoholic. He's got so many problems. But on the other hand, he is so clever, he's so lovable, and he's got a really great taste in music. And I love how Nesbo always mentions music in his books. You know, it's whether it's in the bar and the specific track is playing, or is it between a conversation between friends and they talk about music. Absolutely love that, and especially that it's the type of music that I myself appreciate as well. The other thing that I liked is the fact that, you know, I've read now 13 books in the series. I've read the whole series so far, and I actually love seeing the characters that we've met in the first few books, like, you know, his friend, taxi driver Oystein, or however you pronounce it, Oystein, and Mona, the journalist, and Bellman, and Truls, and Dr. One or whatever you pronounce his name, the psychologist, and I love seeing that. And like, I feel like having read 13 books and seeing those characters in 13 books, I feel like they kind of like, they grow on you. They feel like your mates even, you know, like your family. And I love that. And I love Harry, and I love the whole series. And I know that the way it finished, it feels like there's going to be another book, book 14. And I cannot wait for book 14 to come out. And hopefully I will be a little bit more on the ball when they come out. I will be reading them, and, you know, it will be easier for me to remember what happened before. This came out in 2023. We are now in 2024, so a year later, and the new book didn't come out. So hopefully next year we will see another installment of Harry Hole, and I cannot flipping wait. And I'm also thinking how, because it's gonna make you, it will make you think. Harry Hole is, I don't know, 50 something, or I don't know how old he is, but he's getting there. He's pushing, and you know, the life I don't know how many more books there can be. But also, I think what was nice, it was nice to see Oleg in this book as well. At the very, very end, I was wondering why Oleg wasn't mentioned that much in the beginning of the book. It was just a very fleeting thought about Oleg. Oleg is kind of like his stepson. And at the end of the book, Oleg appeared, and he's in police academy or police college as well. So I wonder if, you know, how cool it would be if in the future Oleg and Harry work together as a team. That would be great. Anyway, Jonas, but I gave you an idea. I am going to end this vlog here. We finally read this book. It took me about a week, but like you see, it's a big book. I'm going to pick up another one, and I think I'm going to read The Kingdom by Nesbo, because I'm in a mood for more Nesbo, and it's going to be a reread for me because I have listened to that book before. But as I didn't really enjoy the narrator, I think I want to reread it physically. And book 2 is coming out on the 26th of September. It should be landing on my doorstep, so I want to be ready for when that book 2 arrives, so I can get to it and read it. One last word about Harry Hole series. I know there's a lot of people out there that kind of they start with the series, and they read the Bat and the Cockroaches, and they are not happy. But I always say to people, the Bat, I think, was one of the worst books in the series. And after the Bat, I think Nesbo took a few years. There was a break of, I think, 4 or 5 years before he did the second book, The Cockroaches. And The Cockroaches was better than the Bat. And then after that, the books just get better and better and better and better. The first book I have read by Nesbo was The Snowman, and it was because there was a movie coming out, and I was like, oh, I think there's a book, I'll read the book first. So I've read the book, and I read this book in like 2 or 3 days. I freaking loved it. I was like, okay, I need to read the 8 that came out before, and then I went back and read The Bat and The Cockroaches, and I could tell how different these books were from the books that came out later on. But I think they need to be read as well, because they kind of introduce the character of Harry Hole to the reader and give like a picture of him and everything. Then my favorite book of the series was definitely Police, and it was a book when where police officers were being killed. Someone was killing police officers in Oslo, and he was on the case. He was the leading investigator. I really loved that. I really loved that book, how it was written. Chef's kiss. Anyway, that's it from me. I think I've talked enough about Nesbo. I will be picking up my next book, which will be The Kingdom for sure. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it. Comment if you want to comment, and if you want to say something but you don't know what, leave me a full moon emoji, because yeah, full moon. And also subscribe if you haven't already. For now, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!